Honestly, I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. I wanna let it go. So here I go, life drop. Starting a new path for my fam. Finding who I am. Speaking life, loving me, even when I fall. Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all. Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all. Hey y'all, hey, we in here. How y'all doing today on this Life Be Lifin Monday? So sorry. I have to move my screen. How y'all doing today? I hope that you all are well. Thank you for joining me for another installation of the Life Be Lifin podcast with your host, me, Porschia O. Okay. If this is your first time here, welcome in. And I just wanted to let you know that here on this podcast, Lord, let me wait. Sorry. I'm excited as always. Oh, did I not write this here? Jesus. Okay, on this podcast is where we talk about how life be over here, life in us via all types of relationships, situations, and everyday things we are experiencing, all while in real time healing and learning how to be a better human being. So if that's what you're about, you're in the right place at the right time, and welcome in. Okay. Let me see. This is live. Okay. So I'm still trying to get the hang of this. I really feel like this is where we're going to be for this season, like live shooting this whole season. So please bear with me as I go through this and like figure it out. Hey, mommy's in the building per usual. Reminding you all to hit that like and share button and all the things. And speaking of, let's just go ahead and hear from my my main people, my girls. Okay, listen to what they got to say.
Hey, it's me, Porschia O, of Be Lifin podcast. I podcast.
Oh, did I mess it up? Okay, one more time.
Hey, it's me, Porschia O, of Be Lifin podcast. I podcast. Psych, it's me, Leo. Psych, it's me, Micah O. Please email my mommy or DM her with whatever you want to talk about. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Because life is loving us all. Bye.
Thank you, Leah and Micah, little cutes, for sharing that moment. Please listen to my babies and help us out doing all of the above, okay? I appreciate it. Let me see. I don't know what the heck I done did. Oh, here we go. I'm like, I can't even find my template anymore. That's so crazy. Oh, okay. We're gonna breathe and we're gonna be cool. But anyway, tonight, thank you for being part of the hashtag Village, the Village of Life Be Lifin podcast. And tonight on this episode, we're going to be talking about seasons and dating and the revelations and like how God clearly was telling me that these men I need to leave alone. Okay, but also not just about that, but also like how this translates into all of my relationships in general, right? So I finally got my segment back. I got some questions, y'all. Okay. I know the last two episodes, I kind of like had questions within my situation or whatever. But I did want to outline some questions and bring that back because like that's really pivotal to who I am. I'm always asking questions I'm always, being inquisitive, as I always say. And so, yeah, just really reflecting on me, myself, and I. So let me bring that. I was just trying to put this here real quick. Okay, that is not what I needed. All right, I don't know. Nothing's working the way that I need it to work. But anyways, it's fine. So, first question, who was I trying to prove something to? Him or me? Okay. The second question I asked is, what patterns did I notice early but tried to override? That's it right there. Another question I had for myself is, when did I stop feeling aligned and why did I stay past that point? Okay. Another question I have is, where was I operating from? My healed self or my lonely self? We kind of talked about that last episode, but listen, okay. Another question was, when did I give him, no, not when, why did I give him access he didn't earn? And that one, I be wanting to punch myself in the face because, girl, he ain't earned the right, the privilege, or none of the things. And here I am freely giving. And the last question, amongst the many, how can I respond differently next time I see the same signs? Okay. So I plan on answering all these questions throughout this podcast, as I typically do. So yeah, thank y'all. Why I get this myself here? I'm just like a little all over the place. Hey James, bestie in the building. Hey brother, parents in the building. Love you guys. Hey Blossom baby, thank you guys for joining. So yeah, I titled this episode Seasons Be Real. Okay, how many of us find ourselves in different seasons and different spaces in our life at one time or another, right? Seasons change. We're in the midst of a season change right now. It was just a beautiful summer day here in Chicago, and now we're back like it's cold as ever. Fall, we have beautiful fall weather, and then it disappeared, and now it's like cold, like it's the winter time. But that's expected, right? We expect seasons in life. We expect seasons in our day-to-day, whatever. But yeah, really like delving into these seasons. So I don't want to take up too much time because I got a long story time. So we're gonna jump right into why? I keep clicking on the wrong thing. We're going to jump right into this is just my life experience, okay? I don't know about nobody else, but I only can talk about me, period, okay? But in the midst of talking about me, we're going to talk about some people I've been in interactions with, I'll say. So at the top of this year, I was really asking and praying, and I was like, God, I really want to date again. Like, I feel like it's that time. I feel like I've done enough, like healing and growing and all the things, and like, so let's see what it's giving, okay? And I also felt like I got the green light from God to like do it. Like, okay, you want to go see, go on, girl, it's your time. And so I did, and I met a guy that I kind of knew. Okay. So I'm going to give different names for each one of these interactions. Okay, y'all. Keep up. Follow along. All right. So this guy's name is the 6-month situationship. Okay. Now, I want to be very clear and preface that obviously I want to be in a relationship with someone. I want to find my husband. Again, I know that, that's going to be a part of my journey, whatever. Okay. But in the midst of that, I am not in a rush to jump into any relationship or anything, but I do want to date and I do want to see like, okay, could this be something? Could this not be something? And that's fine. Right. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I was. That's where I was. And that's what I meant in general. Seriously, like I want to meet my person. So I'm being very intentional about how I date. So anyway, back to the 6 month situationship guy. Okay. So me and him kind of know each other from around the way, whatever. And what I realized initially, it was great. It was a good time. I enjoyed him. He enjoyed me. We spent a lot of time together, a lot of time getting to know each other. And but I did realize some things, right? I was recognizing some things that was happening, things that will be said or done that would kind of rub me the wrong way. But then I was trying to like give space for it, right? Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like growing pains, like we just learning. But yeah, I was unsettled within about it. I was just like, this is a little weird, this is a little odd, this is a little off. But I still gave space. Anywho, what ultimately I realized with this guy, not even after 6 months, actually early on, but it took me 6 months to kind of like let it go. What I realized some things, he only hit me up when it was convenient for him. Okay. This is how I felt. This is my point of view. This is my experience. I felt like he only hit me up when it was convenient for him, when he was available, when he wanted to deal with me, when he wanted to be bothered, when he wanted to make time or space for me. And when I say that, I mean that quite literally. Like, unlike a normal dating interaction, when you talk to a person on a regular basis, like every day, like, and I'm not saying we got to talk every day, all day. Let's be very clear. Y'all already know I'm in school. I work full time. I'm a primary parent of 2 full-time children. Like, I'm doing all the things. I have a full plate. I really, like, if I'm making time for somebody, you better value my time. And the fact that couldn't respond to me or text me on a regular basis or call me, or like, that's asinine. Like, that's ridiculous. But I kept like, making excuses for it, like, oh, okay, but I realized that. And then like no real communication. Like, again, like I said, he would go days without texting, he would go days without calling. Sometimes it got really bad, so it was like a week or so. And I'm just like, this is weird. This is odd behavior. I've never talked to somebody that was so interested and yet seemed so disinterested. You know what I'm saying? But when we did get together and we did hang out, it was so much fun. Like, we enjoyed each other's company. So it's just very odd. Like, there's a disconnect somewhere. Something is happening and maybe I'm not in on it, but I recognize it. Another thing I realized is like, I just felt like I knew that early on that I wasn't giving what I knew early on, that the situation wasn't giving what it needed to give. Okay. After realizing the patterns and the non-communication and the inconsistency and all that type of stuff, it just wasn't giving what it needed to give. I think initially I was super excited about it. I was extremely attracted to him. I really like wanted this to be something, but it really wasn't giving. Like, this is your man, Portia. Like, this is it. Okay. No matter how much I wanted to make it be that, right? And so I realized also that I stayed in this interaction because it was an outlet for me, right? And I needed an outlet at this time where I feel like, my life is so crazy and it's a lot going on all the time. And so, it was fun. Like I said, it was fun and I enjoyed it. I had somebody I could go to the movies with now instead of going by myself. I had somebody I could go out to eat with instead of going by myself. I had somebody on a consistent basis, but it really wasn't consistent. Okay. No matter how much time we spent, it still was like, we'll go 3, 4, 5 days of talking and seeing each other and then disappear. Like, it was just such a weird thing. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like how it made me feel. And what I learned from this interaction is that I had to stop confusing proximity with partnership. Just because he was close and someone I kind of knew and someone that I enjoyed in those moments and I sometimes felt like was easily accessible does not mean that this is it, right? Because in full transparency, he wasn't accessible. It was when he wanted to be accessible. Not, and if it was up to me, we would talk more often. We would have, just constantly build our connection, but it wasn't happening that way. So that became very apparent to me, and that was something I needed to learn. Proximity doesn't mean partnership, okay? And so, yeah, that was that interaction. And then when I addressed that, because, as y'all know, I have conversations with people that I want to understand, like, what's the breakdown, what's going on, or whatever, opposed to assuming, I had a conversation and I let them know how I felt and all hell broke loose. Okay. So, nevertheless, it ultimately showed me like a hit dog holler. Okay. And people show you who they are, you better believe them. All right. So that was that. And no hard feelings. We're cool. It is what it is, but it just ain't gonna be that. And that's fine. So I wonder, have any of y'all ever dated somebody that only acted right when they wanted something? Yeah, let me know in the comments if I'm alone in that, or I know I'm not alone in that. But have you ever felt that? Have you ever recognized that with an interaction with somebody, like, yeah, this is weird. I don't know. But anywho, moving on to the next situation. After this interaction, after 6 months of, I'm not even going to say wasted time. It wasn't wasted time because it was meant for me to learn from that. But after 6 months of interacting with him, and I cut that off, like, okay, we're done. I was talking to my therapist about, whatever. And she's like, why don't you join the dating apps again? See, maybe it's time to restart that and see what that gives. So I went back to Hinge. Okay. And, child, listen, when I first got back on there, I was just like, okay, I think like late at night, I downloaded, re-downloaded, and reactivated my profile. And I went to sleep the next day. I had a bunch of likes. And then, like, not even 3 days being back on the app, I had a guy reach out to me. I mean, we were talking and he asked for my number, and then he was like, let's go on a date. Now, previous years, I told y'all about my Hinge experience. I did not receive any dates off of that app that first time around. So I wasn't really optimistic about this, but I was just like, let's see. Whatever, we'll see. Just putting myself back out there, right? And yeah, I got multiple dates this time. I got multiple guys that were interested, and we communicated and we exchanged numbers, and it was a great little time. I had built my little roster pasta, okay, that I have been wanting to, date multiple people, because like I told y'all before, I haven't really had that full dating experience with like dating different people, doing all that type of stuff, like not taking, like I usually date and take one person seriously. This time around, I wasn't interested in that. Like I wanted to, I mean, if you're not giving me serious, then I'm not gonna, give you serious. Which was another thing, that 6 month guy, Anywho, we're not even gonna go back there. So he wanted to not date multiple people, but then you don't want to talk to me. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, so I built up my little roster. I had like 5 or 6 guys that I was talking to from the app, right? The first guy, we're going to name him the Strawberry Dude. Okay. Strawberry Dude. And I'm going to tell you the story so you understand why he got this name. Strawberry Dude was one of the first guys that asked me on a date. I thought he was very attractive. I liked his profile. I thought, okay, cool. Let's see. within our first interactions of talking, he seemed very down to earth. He seemed very cool. He seemed like he had his ish together. Anywho, he's telling me all the things that I guess he thought I wanted to hear, kind of aligning with his profile. But then, okay, so then he was like, you know, I really like you. Like, I want to hang out. Let's hang out. So I was like, sure. He invited me out. He said, I'm gonna let you know time and date. He let me know time and date, location. I met him there. And first thing I noticed, he looked a little different than his photos. Not in a bad way, but it was just like, oh, like, yeah, you're much more bigger than what your pictures give. That's fine, whatever. I don't mind me, you know what I'm saying? A man with a little meat, you know what I'm saying? Don't bother me. But I was just like, okay, that's one thing. And then we were talking, and then he was like, yeah, you know, I live over here. Da, 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 da. I was like, I thought your profile said Schaumburg or something like that. And he was like, no, I just put that on there to throw off people. Second red flag, okay? Right. Okay, so we had a really good date. He took me to eat. We ate. We had drinks. It was nice. Then we went to the movies. That was cute. We fell asleep in the movie. Anyway, don't ask me. Anyway, but it ended up being a cute little date. Whatever. We was talking after that. He seemed like the more and more I talked to him, the more I realized like he's an angry individual. And he pretty much got like this kind of victim mentality type thing. And I was like, I don't know. And the super saver hoe within me wanted to like fix him, right? Just to be honest. But also I was like, I don't have time to fix him. Like, he need to figure that out. So of course I, right, mommy, run. Of course I suggested to him, like, maybe you should try therapy. Maybe like you sound like you got a lot of trauma. Like, you sound very angry, like with things that happen to you and around you, and you got a lot of unresolved things. Like every time he would talk about an ex, all this type of stuff. But anyway, in the midst of all of this feelings being shared, this man, on a consistent basis, enthusiastically, was always talking about the desire to eat my butt. Okay. This man had one mission and one mission only, it seemed, and it was always involving my butt. He was like, I'm so attracted to you. I think you're so beautiful, and I really like your butt, and I can't wait to taste it. I can't wait to, and I'm just like, wait, what? It was a lot. It was a lot. Okay. I don't ever want to yuck anybody's yum, but no, but I don't want to yuck nobody's yum. I know it's a lot of kinks out there, and that's fine. Whatever you like, or whatever. Me personally, I've never had that done. I'm not opposed to it, but also, let me take this off my TV. Child, listen. And so this is the only last part that I would say about it. And you can, but yeah, he wanted to do that. He wanted to, and this is the most disgusting part. And I said I was going to share it on the podcast because it's just that disgusting. And if I had to hear it, I feel like you guys be too, right? So he messaged me one day. We were supposed to hang out, and I was waiting for him to solidify the plans or whatever. And I don't even know what we were talking about. But no matter what we were talking about, if we were in agreement or disagreement, it does not matter. It always led back to my bottom. Okay. And so we were talking, and he was like, yeah, da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then he was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to put a strawberry in there and have you push it out in my mouth. And I was like, what? What? You want a chocolate covered strawberry? Like, what are we doing? What is wrong with people? I'm like, first of all, I'm a woman. I know what's good for my body, what's not good for my body. You talking about putting an acidic, mushy piece of fruit in that hole that potentially has, I don't know what in there. What are we talking about? What are we doing? I just cannot. So yeah, I was completely turned off by that. And I was just like, so I called him out on it. I was like, you have this weird obsession with my butt. Like, I just don't get it. Like, that's very weird. And you don't know me like that. And he was like, no, I don't be. But it sounds like you do. Like, I've never been so aggressively approached or I don't even know what to call it, pursued about that. Now I know guys like a nice round rambunctious bottom, and I get it, but this was like a whole nother level I had never experienced before. So yeah, no, I wasn't interested. And the funny thing about it, this was like after 2 months of us talking, and we only went on one date. I only saw the man in person one time, but we have been talking, and you know, a lot of stuff was going on. He was a lot. I had to check him quite a few times, and I really don't like to do that. And I don't want to come off like I'm a woman that feel the need to check a man. That ain't the thing. Like, that's not where I was coming from. But he needed to be put in his place multiple times by me because he do this whining thing and be like, and I'm like, what is up with you? Like, we're adults. Like, communicate like an adult. Don't be hitting me up or coming through my line. Also, you can't. Excuse you. Hello, how you doing, Porschia? Are you good? Oh, okay. Everything okay on your end? Like, that grinds my gears for somebody to assume like the worst, opposed to like checking in, like, hey, what concern? Hey, you good? I haven't heard from you, or you know, I feel like something off or something weird. Like, ask questions. Don't come through my phone like, oh, okay, bet. So that's what we doing. What? I cannot. So yeah, we had a few of those interactions. And yeah, after that, this is what it was. Even before that, I was already over it, right? So I stopped like kind of communicating with him, but he'll still hit me up from time to time. Whatever. I already knew, hey, this ain't going past here. But then my kids, not my kids, my Hinge, the app, emailed me. It was like, oh, this person that you were matched with, we got complaints about him that he was a scammer. What? And so I approached him about it. And I was like, sir. So I asked him, like, so what's going on with him? Like, they had to deactivate his page and everything. And so I asked him about it. He was like, oh, I've been deleted that app off of my phone. When? When did you do that? And I was like, oh, because they emailed me and told me that you basically like trying to scam people out their money. You be asking people for money, like it's fraudulent behavior, and your profile is fraudulent, which I can attest to because them pictures, your location, and amongst other things that he told me seemed very fraudulent. So I can see how somebody got to this conclusion. And then I remember one time us having a conversation, and he was like, oh, my bank account and my credit union and this and that, and then the funds wasn't matching up or something. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Nigga, what you taking me for? And he didn't come off like he was asking for anything, because his vibe was always like, man, I don't ask nobody for nothing. I just take care of myself, man. I don't care. If I gotta do, I'm sick and everything. I just do what I got to do. I don't care. That was his, you know what I'm saying? So he wouldn't directly ask necessarily, but he meeting a softer woman, a super saver hole type woman like myself. I'm reforming. But like meeting that type of woman, be like, oh my gosh, like you don't have to handle that on your own. What are you doing? What are you talking about? This man was out here being a whole scammer. And the women must have reported him. And he was like, and then he couldn't even give me a direct answer. He's like, I don't know what they talking about. I've been deleted that app. And I was like, oh, that's so crazy because they said people were reporting your page to the point that they had to deactivate your page. And he was like, them hoes probably reported me because I wouldn't be taking their ish. What? Boy, bah. Get on. Get on. Okay. So yeah, I dropped him like a bad habit, and I told him straight up, because I don't believe in treating people the way I don't want to be treated. And so I told him straight up. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm done with this interaction. I'm good. You have a great life. I hope that you find everything that you need. Okay. But I ain't it. And that man was like, what? And then said, bye. And I never heard from him again. And that's fine. I prayed that I don't have to. Okay. So that was Strawberry Man. He's very weird and apparently a scammer. So moving right along to another guy that I met on the app, Dr. Ghana. Okay. Dr. Ghana. Man, Dr. Ghana. He was handsome. We had very good conversation. Only the second person that I've dated that is a foreigner. And yeah, so we talked a lot and all the things that he invited me out on a date to the Art Institute of Chicago. And that was my first time having a date like that. And I thought it was very beautiful, very, very nice or whatever. He was a perfect gentleman, very sweet guy. He's here doing a PhD program in Chicago or whatever. And so he's a full-time student. He's a scientist. Yeah, super cool guy. Okay. Enjoyed his company, enjoyed hanging out with him, talking to him. We had study dates together. That was super cute. Had fun with that. But the issue with him is we only went on 2 real dates. That was to the Art Institute, and we went bowling another time. Outside of that, we always just hung out studying stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, when we gonna go back outside? Like, what we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a part of the experience that I want. I want to date, consistently. I don't want to put myself in a situation that is not comfortable or that's not going to yield me, the result that I want. I know if I Netflix and chill, that Netflix and chill can lead to other things, and that's not where I'm trying to be at, right? And so I was very purposeful about that and constantly communicating this to him. And he's like, yeah, I hear you. I understand all this and that, but yet and still consistently would try and invite me to like hang out at his house, stuff like that. But what it really read to me was the inconsistency, right? He would hit me up every day. We would talk every day. We will text, we will call, we'll FaceTime, we'll do all the things. But it was the inconsistency in like the dating aspect. Like, and the talking and texting is just general stuff. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Like, little shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing. How's your day? How's school? How's class? That was our general conversations. We would have more in-depth conversations in person, talking politics and teaching him like how things operate here or whatever, combating things that he's heard or what he may believe about our dumb person that's in charge of this land right now. All that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the immigration, all of that. It was great intellectual conversation. I enjoyed that. But yeah, he had his flaws, obviously. And it seemed like to me that he wanted my energy, but he didn't want to give much effort, right? And I understand you in a very demanding program, but again, you're not the only person that has a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And you can't say you want to date and then don't want to make time to actually date. right? You can't keep giving an excuse. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I got this assignment due. Oh, I got that due, whatever. But then you still want to be around me. But what it boiled down to is he ultimately wanted to have he ultimately wanted to have a person that he can constantly have interaction with on a physical level. I'll say it like that. Okay. And I wasn't interested in that. And I told him that, and he told me that, whatever, that's not it. Like, that's not, but again, actions speak louder than words. And so the inconsistency and all of that just kind of spoke to me like, yeah, no, this is all you're wrong. This is all you want to do. And I'm not interested in that. To the point that, and I kept giving him the benefit of the doubt because we kept having conversations about it. And he was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Like, I really like you. Da, 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 da. And boiled down to us having that final conversation and his actions aligning with what I've always thought. And so I told him that I was done with this, and I pretty much read him down from head to toe, okay, about all the things and how he was showing up and whatever. And so he then apologized profusely and was like, he wanted to make it up. He wanted to do better. He wanted to not, he didn't want to hurt my feelings. He didn't want me to look at him that way or whatever. And he planned for us to have a date for us to talk this through, right? After I read him for filth. And so what ended up happening pretty much was he never followed through with it. And like when I said I was done, I was done. And I did leave the door open for him to make amends for it. But when he didn't, it wasn't nothing else for me to do with it, right? So, and I don't think he believed it until he saw me not being the one that reached out, me not being the one who interacted with him. And he was like, I feel like it's distance between us, like after a week. And I was like, well, yeah, I told you I was done with this interaction. I have nothing else to give to it. The ball is in your court. I was waiting for you to do what you said you wanted to do. And I haven't heard anything. Then he come back with excuses. And then I was like, okay, well, there's that. I was like, well, I'm just answering your question that you asked me why there's distance. This is why. And so he said, oh, okay. And I never heard from him again. So there's that. And he just showed me like who he was. Like, I already peeped who you are. I called it out. You didn't like that I called it out. Once again, same thing with 6 month guy. You don't like that I call the things what they are. And so, yeah. And yeah, that was just that. And my ultimate ick with him was, how do you apologize for not talking and then still don't talk? Like, that's crazy work. But people think they can do the bare minimum and still get away with it. And it's not necessarily their fault per se. It is people like me on the receiving end that consistently receives and allows people to just show up that way in my life. And that's not cool. So it is what it is. Dr. Ghana, he's done. He's out of there. And, the lesson I learned from that is consistency is a love language, okay? If you cannot show up for a conversation, you can't show up for me, because I like to talk. I like to work through things. I like to gain understanding. So, yeah, I communicated all that I needed to communicate, and I was done. And that was that. And so the last guy from Hinge I will mention that was a part of the Rasta Pasta. This guy, I don't even know what to name him, but this guy deleted my number after 2 days of no communication between us. Okay. And the funny thing about this is, like, sir, I could have been asleep. I could have been in class. I was washing dishes. I could have been doing all types of things. How you gonna break up with me when we weren't even dating? How? Tell me how. Because that was crazy. James said, bye-bye, doctor. Bye-bye. And he's all right. He'll be all right. I'm all right. But yeah, dude, like, was mad. And I was like, so when I hit him up, after like 2 days of us not talking, I was like, hey, how you doing? Like, what's going on? And he's like, who is this? Excuse me? The man deleted my number. Must have deleted our text thread too, because yeah. I was like, what? He was like, well, I thought that you weren't talking to me, so your attention must have been elsewhere. What? Again, communication. All you have to do is like, hey, what's up? I ain't heard from you. Like, everything good? You good over there? Anything could have happened. I could have got hit by a bus. God forbid. Okay, God forbid. But I'm just saying, like, how you just go delete my number? That was weird. And I was the one that last text. You didn't even respond to my text. Like, you're weird. These dudes be weird. Right. Who is this? Crazy big man. What? That was so weird. And ultimately, we stopped talking. Like, we had that little moment, and we was like, okay, this is what we gonna do. And then still nothing. We made plans to meet each other in person. He never followed through with it. Never. So, yeah, I'm not gonna plan any dates. That I'm past that era. The next date I plan will be for my man. My man. There will be no dates being planned by Porschia with none of these dudes that I'm just dating. Okay. But when I'm in a relationship, then I'll turn that part of me on. Then I'll unlock her. Then I'll let her out. Because I'm not showing up for y'all. I need somebody that can plan for me. I need somebody that want to show up for me. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, that was that Hinge chaos and all of that interaction. But yeah, why do men treat communication like it's a trauma bond? Like, chill out. Like, I don't get it. Whatever. So that was all of that leading up to this moment. So I had a clearing. I think it was the transformation clearing or the cycle ending clearing or whatever, whichever one it was. I was doing that, doing my prayers, all this type of stuff. This was Wednesday. Friday is when I had the interaction with Dr. Ghana that I ended things with him that night. Because I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Okay. Sunday, I did not go to church that day. Me and the kids stay home. I think Leah wasn't feeling well, something like that, whatever. Anyways, we chilling, laying around, whatever. Leah pulls a book off of my shoe case. I have books on top of my shoe case. She pulls a book off of my shoe case. This book been sitting up there for like 2 years, bruh. 2 years. She's never went up there and touched anything on my shoe case. Pulled this book down, and it's called My Knight in Shining Armor. I was gifted this 2 years ago. At the time I was gifted it, I was like, I don't need to read this book to hear nothing that I talked to God directly. I don't need to hear what this woman talking about, how to sit yourself aside for God. Girl, I already know that, girl. Okay. But that was me being prideful. Okay. And being a know-it-all. Which I'm not. So anyway, Leah starts, she's like, oh, this sounds interesting. So she starts reading it. She reads the introduction, I'll say. She reads the introduction. And I'm like, why is this girl reading this? Right? And I'm just going along. I think I was folding clothes or cleaning up, doing whatever. And she's just reading out loud to me. And I'm listening to her and I'm just like, okay. And she gets to the end of the introduction and it's a contract. And the contract is basically you signing and saying that for the next 6 months, you're going to fast from dating. You're going to fast from whatever it is that you're seeking from a man or whatever. And you're going to focus these next 6 months on you and God. And I was just like, okay. Okay. But then low key, high key, I was waiting for Dr. Ghana after Leah said, she's like, Mommy, I think you should do this. And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, I think you should do this. This sounds amazing. Like, you should do this. And she's like, I'm really ready for my bonus dad, which I don't believe that to be true. But I think she was saying something. I don't even think it was her, honestly, in that moment. Believe or not believe, but I don't feel like she was speaking for herself in that moment. I feel like God was speaking through her in that moment. And I was just like, what? Okay. But also, like I said, I was waiting for Dr. Ghana to set up this conversation date that we were supposed to have. And I was just like, I can't do that right now. I can't do no 6-month fast from dating when I have this thing over here that could potentially be something, right? But that was also a part of, what the lady was talking about in the intro. Like, if you're dating somebody and it's not serious or whatever, if they can wait. They can wait. If you want to do this, you can do this, get close to the God, whatever. And at the end of this, if they still around, that's good. They should be able to wait. If they really know they want to spend the rest of their life with you, then they'll wait. Y'all got the rest of y'all lives to spend with each other, right? Cool, whatever. So eventually, like after some days had passed, I was like, you know what? Forget him. Like, I'm not waiting for him to set up that date. If he ever sets it up, I'll go, but I don't have any real expectation of anything, right? And so I was like, I feel like God was telling me, like, I gave you room to explore. I gave you room to see, like, what it is that you wanted, what it is that you may like, whatever. But now it's time for you to sit down. Again. It's time for you to sit down and keep healing. Keep healing. And he was also telling me, like, to keep trying. I keep trying to date and while I'm wounded. And I need to sit with him first. And I felt like I've done this throughout these last almost 4 years of my separation and everything like that. But it's been like in droves. It's been like in seasons, and it's been like in moments, right? Obviously, I've been healing. I've been doing the work. I've been doing the things. But it's like really switching this mindset, like for real. And I think after all of these interactions, I have really come to realize, like, dating can be a distraction. And it is a distraction because those moments I'm spending with these people, I am ignoring the Holy Spirit. I'm letting my flesh speak more than my spirit leading me. But it's okay. It's okay. I needed that time. I needed that season to see it clear as day. I think it became abundantly clear to me. And within that clarity is a new season. You know what I'm saying? And these men weren't assignments necessarily, but they were confirmations. They were confirmations that I was given way more than I have received. And that's pretty much been like where I've been overall. And it was also confirmation that I lower my standards, and I have outgrown that season for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I may have used to been like giving into, I don't have to give into those things any longer. Like, you're not that same Porschia, like that. And I found myself going back to those default settings so much. But also the newer version of myself kept fighting it. Like, girl, like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. And then I also got the confirmation that God is preparing me for someone who won't treat me like an option. Okay? Because I don't think there's any worse feeling when you're trying to date or dating that you feel like you're an option. Like, I don't want to feel like an option. I want to feel chosen. I want to feel seen. I want to feel understood. and all of that, you know. So because that's what I'm given. So yeah. And so I decided to go on ahead and do this 6-month fast of no dating. And we're back to this space. Okay. But even though I'm back to this space, it's still it's different this time. It's way different this time because I think before where I was operating from a broken heart for sure. My heart is still mending. It's still not whole. It's still not healed to completion because my situation is still, you know, what it is. But I do recognize that I needed to do a soft reset. So that leads me to this segment, which is tools from my toolbox of life. Okay. This is where I give you all a tool to be utilized and that you can use and my kids in here doing the most. Here, hush, get out. A tool that you can use that I have been finding to be very useful to me these last few months or whatever. So, and that tool is writing letters. Now, I know last episode I talked to you guys about writing letters and or I wrote a letter to myself. And I just wrote one, you know, last week when I was emotional and going through a lot or whatever in my revelations that I had. But this letter I wrote to myself when I decided to do this fast of 6 months of no dating. No dating. If I meet somebody, I can talk to somebody, but there will be no expectation to date. There will be no expectation to be in a relationship, nothing like that. Like I'm really focusing on me and God's relationship, period. Like that's where my extra time is going to. That's what, you know, whatever. So yeah, anyway, so I wrote this letter to myself. I dated it October 23rd, which is crazy. Wait, yesterday made a month. Yesterday made a month that I've been on my 6-month journey. That's crazy because I'm telling y'all, I got so much going on. I don't even have time to keep up with like dates and stuff like that. But yeah, I signed this October 23rd and I titled it The Soft Reset. Okay. So this is the letter that I wrote to myself to start this journey. I wrote, and so my end date is April 23rd, 2026. Okay. So what I wrote is I vow to choose myself fully, freely, and without apology. And for the next 6 months, I will no longer stretch myself thin just to be seen, heard, or chosen by others. I already am, right? I will no longer settle for bare minimum energy, halfway love, or inconsistent communication dressed up as connection. I will no longer romanticize red flags or confuse convenience with care. Instead, I will date myself with curiosity and compassion. I will deepen my relationship with God, allow Him to fill the spaces I've once begged others to occupy. I will protect my peace, my body, my time, my spirit, like a sacred temple that it is. I will listen to my intuitions whisper no, and I'll stop waiting for it to scream. I will release the need to control what's meant to be surrendered. I will allow this season to be soft, sacred, and strengthening, not lonely, but holy. And if someone truly values me, they will be here after 6 months with intention, not pressure. I am not on pause. I am being prepared. And in this preparation, I reclaim my wholeness, my confidence, my divine femininity. I vow to show up for me the way I've shown up for others. And I trust that what is mine will not miss me. Okay. So that was the letter I wrote to myself. I signed it. And I look forward to it, you know, and I'm going to hold you. It sounds like so easy, so simple. It is super easy, but it's like a form of accountability for yourself if you wrote it on paper. And it's something for me about writing something out. That's how I learn my schoolwork. Like, I write notes. I have notebooks and note cards filled with all the things because I love writing stuff out. I seem to retain it more when I write it out. Okay. And but yeah, that has just been useful for me in this season to write myself letters. I journal still, but like to write myself a letter, it's just been very like I'm talking to this now Portia from a different space. You know what I'm saying? From a higher perspective of me. And I can always look back on it and appreciate, that Portia and how she's showing up for herself, even in these moments, right? So yeah, it's been very interesting to say the least. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. Write the letters, talk to yourself, write how you feel, write some vows, write some assignments, write some things that you want to implement into your day-to-day life. And it's not easy. That's what I was going to say. It's not easy. I was just at church yesterday. And I sat in the balcony. I got there really early because my kids had to sing. And I sat in the balcony and pretty much wasn't nobody up there at that time. And this guy came in and sat like next to me in the next section, but it was just like a chair apart, right? And I looked over and I'm like, dang, he's fine. Like, he was super fine. Okay, super, super, super fine. And I find myself looking and I'm like, okay. In this church, like I told you, I'll be like, tell your neighbor this, tell your neighbor that, or whatever. So I'm talking to the lady on this side, and then sometimes I will talk to him over here on this side or whatever. And at one point during the service, he grabbed my hand. And I think it was at one of the neighbor points, and I was talking to the other lady, and then I didn't look towards him or whatever. And he grabbed my hand, and I looked, and I allowed him to grab my hand, and he said the thing to me, and I said the thing to him or whatever. So anyway, we held hands during a prayer, whatever. And then at the end of the sermon, the pastor told us to hug each other, hug somebody around you, tell them whatever. And so I started hugging people on this side first, and I just turned all the way around. And when I got to turn to him, and this was at the very end of service, so it was the benediction. When I got to him, he was talking to the girl that was sitting next to him, and they were exchanging numbers. And I was like, she stole my man. No, I'm just playing. I didn't say that. But no. And in all honesty and full transparency, because I'm going to give it to y'all raw, I'm looking like, she as cute as me. Okay. But no, for real. That's what we do. That's what those negative mindsets do. Because why am I now putting myself in competition with her? Why am I now trying to compare myself? She has nothing to do with none of the things. And neither does he, honestly. But I looked over there and I saw them exchanging numbers. I was just like, that could have been me. But in all honesty, and just like I had another situation like that, I've had many situations like that before, that I saw somebody that I was interested in, they may not have known that I was interested in, and I see them talk to somebody else or giving somebody else the energy I wanted them to give me, right? And instead of me taking it as a rejection, instead of me taking it or internalizing it like, oh, he didn't want to talk to me, I wasn't good enough or any of those things, the reality is that God blocked it. And just because it look good on the outside portion don't mean it's good, okay? Don't mean it's good for you. So, I was like, we was first ones sitting up there. I should have talked to him. I should have shot my shot, but I'm not in the season to shoot my shot. I'm sitting in the season to sit down and talk to God, okay? So, but yeah, it was just very interesting for that to play out right in front of my face. And I was just like, okay, God, I hear you. And even if, I don't know that man from a can of paint, but like, even if that wasn't our moment, maybe it'll be another moment. I just don't know how it's going to happen. But again, my mind being so focused on that and not focused on God is the issue. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me a green light. He allowed me to go dating. He allowed me to see what I like. He allowed me to see what I don't like. He allowed me all of this space to show up and be who I am, but also like, okay, baby, it's time to come back, reel it back in. Let's sit down. Let's chill out. Let's breathe. Let's recalibrate. Let's do a soft reset. You know what I'm saying? Get back in your bag. Get back to taking care of you. Get back to fully focusing on me. Don't let your flesh lead you. Don't let your desires lead you. Don't let your loneliness lead you. Let's refocus. Let's get back to where I need you to be, because I still got work to do with you. You know? But I thought that was so funny to me yesterday, because I was just like, oh my gosh, that could have been me. Like if I was just like, you know what I'm saying? But no, it could not. It could not. God blocked it. You didn't need that. You don't need that right now, you know? So yeah, that was that. I thought that was really cute and funny. But yeah, so yeah. I'm interested to know, have you guys ever had any interactions like this that I have talked about tonight? We about to wrap this up. Have y'all had anything similar with people, with men, women, and you just knew that it wasn't giving what it needed to give, or you knew like, I need to recalibrate, I need to just reset, I need to try again, or I need to sit down for some time? Like, I think we get so caught up in the desire for connection and stuff like that so much that we, you know, don't realize like how much it takes away from who God needs us to be, you know, or whatever. And I'm not saying that you can't have connection. Obviously, God wants us to have connection. He created us to be connected to each other. But this wasn't even just revelatory to my romantic relationships. This is revelatory towards all of my relationships with my friends, with my family, with whomever, that I can't keep giving so much and be so concerned and so into other people's situations and circumstances that I don't, I lose focus, right? I lose focus, and I get so encapsulated in what's going on with them and our interaction, and you know what I desire. And also I've learned what I don't want in relationships with my friends and family as well. So it's just it's a catch-22. And again, if I just refocus, reset, and recenter, I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anywho, no, I've held y'all over time today. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me, getting through all of those stories. It was a lot going on. But you know, I'm gonna tell y'all what's the goings on, because that's just where we are. That's what we do. So gonna go into the last segment, okay, which is my Speak Life affirmation. I thought I was gonna have my life coaching video today for you guys, but I'm still working on this live system. So please bear with me as I continue to add back Shop Lene. She still is linked in the description. If y'all can go support Shop Lene, that would be great. Also, my life coaching business is still a thing, still happening. So if you can please go to my website, check that out. Also, will be linked in the description. I appreciate all y'all love and support and all the things. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this Speak Life affirmation. Oh God, I forgot to play my music. Today's Speak Life is, I trust the work God is doing with me, and I refuse to settle for anything that is not aligned. Again, today's Speak Life affirmation is, I trust the work that God is doing with me, and I refuse to settle for anything that is not aligned. You heard it, you say it, you write it down, and remind yourself to speak that thing to make it happen, because life is liking us all. Thank y'all again for joining. I appreciate you all. You have a wonderful night. I'll see y'all back here next Monday. Okay. I think there's December 1st. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.
Honestly, I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. I wanna let it go. So here I go, like drop. Start